Everybody, is Steph from the Hot Moving Podcast. And oh man, I know this video is probably going to trigger some people, but before I get started, look, Patrick Mahomes is already a Hall of Famer. Okay, one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL. Okay, he is a Mount Rushmore quarterback. Okay, so he's up there with the Bradys, Peyton Manning. You can look. People look at Elway as one of the great quarterbacks. Troy Aikman, Roger Staubach, Barstar. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so many quarterbacks that's come in this league and set themselves apart, or not so many, a few. And Mahomes is right up there. Okay. I mean, you can narrow it down to two quarterbacks, probably Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, right? And then there's everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Mahomes has built a career to go ahead and he has separated himself in this generation as the best quarterback probably. Now, all that being said, okay, real discussion time about Patrick Mahomes, okay, because when there's any type of criticism on Patrick Mahomes, especially for Chiefs fans and whatnot, it triggers a soft spot. It triggers a nerve, okay? But you got to assess the player for what they are currently, and it hasn't been good. Hasn't been good this season, okay? Last year, it was all about the drop passes, okay? And that's true because the receivers were garbage last year, but they found a way to get it all done. This year, look, I'm not one of those guys that's and look, yesterday 196 yards, 2 interceptions. I mean he had 3 passing touchdowns, not bad, but 2 interceptions. Again, turnovers has been the theme. 15 touchdowns at this point of the season, 11 interceptions. It's pretty bad for the standard of Patrick Mahomes. Now, when I say standard, right? I'm not talking about him having another 50 touchdown season like he did years ago, in 2018 when he was a full-time starter. Okay, or not even 2020. Okay, not even 2021. Okay, not even 2022. We'll get into that season in particular a little bit. But somewhere getting around 28 to 30 touchdowns with at most 8 to 9 interceptions, right? That's not the case. And is to this 2022 season, I mean, was this really, we gotta be really objective here, was this truly the last MVP type of season for Patrick Mahomes? Now, Patrick Mahomes is only 29 years old. He has a lot of career left, okay? But you start scratching your head, did they peak a little bit? Did he peak early? And now we're seeing, it's crazy because I'm not going to say the cliff, because I know back in the end, Max Kelvin really was pushing that cliff argument with Tom Brady, and he was made to look a fool. I'm not going that far, okay? I don't even want to say the word cliff, but has Patrick Mahomes reached a momentary cliff in his career where now he has been reverted back to the mean of the NFL in terms of mediocre play on average? However, when it's time to make the plays, what sets them apart from that, though, is when it's time to make the plays, the Chiefs, especially this season, they have been making the plays to win these games, to even get to that 9-0 start, right? He's made the plays, the clutch time plays, and the defense has been making the plays. And, look, like I didn't finish my point. He has weapons, man. You know what I'm saying? He does. Worthy, Kelsey, he has Kareem Hunt now. You know what I'm saying? I know he don't have Rashee Rice, and I know he don't have Pacheco. I know. I'm not trying to minimize those guys that he don't have. Okay, he didn't have Hollywood Brown. I'm not gonna minimize the significance of those guys. He got DeAndre Hopkins now. You know what I'm saying? I even though there's talent missing, I feel like he has enough talent to produce better numbers than what he's producing. Okay, and I also think that these turnovers and stuff. Okay, cool. Are all the interceptions all on him? I'm not going to do that. I can be smart to know that, out of those 11 interceptions, could there have been maybe about 3 to 4 where they got bounced off, but nonetheless, it's still on his record. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So, look, he's not playing well, obviously, and people get nervous to criticize Patrick Mahomes. Shannon Sharp, he was talking today, and he's been out front and said, look, he has not been having the season he's been having. Kevin Wiles on First Things First, definitely saying it too. Not a lot of guys on TV are saying it too much. But there are a few. And it's, getting a three-peat is almost damn near impossible. The last team to get a three-peat was the Green Bay Packers in the 60s, and we know what type of league that was and how many teams was out there at the time. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't even Super Bowl. Was it called just NFL Championship or something like that? So I don't see the Chiefs three-peating. Okay, if they do three-peat, then Mahomes he will solidified even more than solidified his legacy. To add that, despite how the season's going, if they're able to go to three-peat, and even though his numbers would be not as great as his previous seasons, and the defense carries his team to a three-peat, but he's a starting quarterback. Okay, you can't take that away from him. You know what I'm saying? However, though, I don't see that happening, just for the fact that I don't see any team ever three-peating again. Just the fact that just the parity has gotten so strong in the league that is very tough. I mean, it was already impressive to get a back-to-back, hard to get a back-to-back. But the reality is that, the Patrick Mahomes that we once knew, the electrifying Patrick Mahomes, is that done, right? I mean, you would think that'd be done around 30, 35. You know what I'm saying? Nah, man, he's only 29 years old. And I don't hear any valid excuses anymore. You know what I'm saying? At some point, because here's the thing, Patrick Mahomes made these guys names too as well. You know what I'm saying? And it's now he's become a game manager. Okay, mediocre statistic numbers, but he's elite at game execution when it matters the most. But how long can you rely on that, right? You know what I'm saying? A lot of teams still fear Patrick Mahomes as they should, but should he be as feared to a certain extent, where teams got to just continue to change their game plan to go for it and not go for it? You know what I'm saying? So that's all I got to say about Patrick Mahomes. I mean, obviously, everything I mentioned earlier in the vid stands, you know what I'm saying? But, when you see it, this is regression, man. And again, was 2022 season truly his last MVP season, man. Y'all let me know what y'all really think about this. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.